No. Just no. Welcome to Max's Models. I'm Max. Hello, everybody, and let me tell you a story of kit model woe. And I mean both woe as sadness and woe as whoa. Okay, so I wanted to go ahead and get back to work and finish off that Olimp JN-4H Gunnery Jenny. And this kit, I'll give them credit that they tried to keep everything like the struts to scale and shaped correctly. But that meant when you scale down an airplane like the Jenny to 1/72nd scale, that you have virtually no, almost needle tight points of contact with the struts on the wings. Now you can drill them out a little bit, but there's still just not much in there to get any purchase. And they were a nightmare to get to stand up straight and let the glue harden and everything. And then when they did, the point of contact was so small that they were exceedingly fragile. At one point, I'd gotten all four of the cabane struts in place, and then the four inner struts, and I was going to put the other ones on later. So I let them harden, got a few more on, let them harden, and then when I went to put in, I think it was the last strut, the whole thing just twisted and came off. It's just there's so little there. So I wound up actually having to kind of build up the base areas with some glue, and that was very unsightly. But at least it solidified them where they wouldn't fall off so easily. I saw online where some people rigged this thing when they were done. So my hat's off to them. And there's one other thing I should point out, that almost everything is a butt joint, and it has a three-piece top wing and a three-piece lower wing. You have to put the wings on the center section. And at first, I thought that was okay, but they didn't fit flush, and it just didn't look that great. And they're butt joints. Everything here, just about everything here, is a butt joint. You have to chop off the front of the fuselage to fit the engine for this version. That wasn't really a big deal. The face of the engine, the radiator, and everything, all that stuff, it all just goes on. There's no alignment pins or anything. The tail was surprisingly difficult to get into place because it kept wanting to lean one way or the other. I kept trying to sand and file the fuselage where the tail sits to be flat, where the tail would naturally sit flat, but always wanted to cock off one way or the other. It's just fairly poor fitting because nothing actually fits. It just lays on top and you glue it in place. Uh, this was a difficult kit. I'm going to tell you right now, just it was because of the nature of the airplane, it's extremely flimsy. Now, I built a lot of 1/72nd scale biplanes, and the Douglas World Cruisers were this way also, in that they had individual struts that were made to scale, and they were tedious and difficult to work with. I finally got them in, but the World Cruiser has it's a bigger airplane, and it would, actually probably wasn't any more difficult than this one, but uh, at least they had a one-piece wing that you were dealing with, so it was just sturdier. Now, mind you, I put the wing together before I started to put the struts on, so I was essentially dealing with one piece, but it was just it didn't quite, because I don't want to say it was misaligned, but just getting everything straight. It didn't want to hang straight. It was just difficult. Now, when I say difficult, I'm talking about for the average, fun holiday builder. A master builder gets it. He's going to put that wing together. He's going to putty it and sand it and get it looking perfect and get it all measured just right. I think as much as anything else, I just hadn't built one like this in a while. I built all of those little Revell biplanes recently, but they come with a lot of times with fixed cabane struts molded into them, or something to give you a steady place to start off with, or the main wing struts have that top and bottom already molded on them. And yeah, admittedly, it doesn't look quite as good because you have to seal up where it mounts, or you wind up with this big visible area on the wing where the whole strut assembly went in, which is not accurate. But it's a 1/72nd scale airplane, biplane. It's 69-cent kit. This Olimp kit, he gives you the potential to make a more accurate looking airplane, but man, the level of skill that it would take to do it. And even some of the really nice builds I saw online, you could sort of see some of a little roughness on the fit of some of the parts. The kit just is not something I would build again. I can't really recommend this kit unless you're particularly looking for that airplane. Uh, Putting the Lewis guns on the aft ring, they didn't want to. I wound up having to glue the guns together because the drums were so wide; it was almost wider than the mount. So I wound up having to put the guns together and then put them on the ring because there's almost no. But they did fit. So I guess that may be accurate. But it was just, oh, the decals, very brittle. I don't know how old they were, but several of them broke up on me, and they looked good. I didn't think it was a problem, and even used a lot of Solvaset, had trouble getting them to soften. I actually using Mark Fit, a lot of trouble getting them softened, but about the third try, I finally got the wings on it, and once I'd gotten over that hurdle, it went a little bit easier. A lot of the wing struts and the underwing loops and everything. I broke one of them because you're trying to, they've got injector gate marks on them, and you're trying to get that off, but the parts are so delicate they break. And this is, I would describe this build as tedious, and not happy at all with the way it came out. I mean, I weathered it, and uh, because the decals broke up, I lost some of the numbers, which, by the way, are individual numbers. It's not one decal sheet for the number down the side. So I grabbed some other just military looking numbers I had off from another kit and just stuck them on the other side. They don't even match. But at this point, that was beyond caring. And that's not a good place to be when you're pulling a model. And so this and the Helldiver will be going out of the Tarbis to be hidden in a dark corner somewhere behind all the other better builds, where hopefully no one will ever see them, and they will go to the island of mismet models. But I wouldn't give up on it. But I got to be honest, I just yeah. No, this is I hate to speak ill of kit models because I know how much work it takes to make molds and everything, and but I can't recommend this kit unless you've got, mad skills and a lot of patience. Maybe I'm being too hard on it. Maybe it's just I've hit 176 scale burnout. It's time. I'm going to get ready to get started on that big testers stealth F-117. And also, I got to start. I got to pick an armor kit. I don't know if I'm going to do a German half track or the Tamiya Stuart light tank for the armor build that's supposed to be due at the end of this month. But I need to get cracking on that. So that's where we're at with that right now. Once again, I want to thank Harvey Lowe for coming on the live stream last night. Great time. And if I get another one of these Olimp kits, I'm going to send it to Harvey and say, okay, do what you can with this. Go ahead, embarrass me. I don't mind. I'm sure he could do something magical with it. But my big hands and old eyes, I was like, yep, 172nd scale biplanes. Not my bag, baby. You know what it is? 172nd scale is great for like B-17s, and I got several of those I need to get started. I actually have started on, need to get back to work on. That's 172nd scale, the scale for me with B-29s and B-17s. But when it comes to single engine stuff and biplanes, I think I'll stick with 148 or better. Except for the little Revell kits, because they go together so easily, and therein lies the real difference. This kit was made to have parts that can be made to look super accurate, even it made them exceedingly difficult to build, whereas Revell made some compromises to make kits that were fun and easy to build. And if I was going to give them any one recommendation for this kit, by the way, there's virtually no alignment pins on anything, so everything's just your best judgment. But if I was going to give them advice on anything, I would say mold the Cabane struts into the top part of the fuselage so that people have a good solid base to start off with. And you're going to have to drill some holes, because I try to do, butt joint contact and get everything, because that's the way it looked like it was supposed to go, but getting everything to line up was a nightmare. And you're going to need a really tiny pin vise. And then you're still not going to have a lot to grab with. So see, if you guys will just mold those Cabane struts right onto the top part of the fuselage, it'd make it all go a whole lot easier. And that's my 2 cents. And one final parting thought. I want to thank Tommy Anderson for having me on his Helldiver reveal live stream. A link below. Okay, guys, you take care of yourselves. We'll talk to you later. And as always, model on.